Remember, back in 2018, Republican lawmakers asked the Inspector General Michael Horowitz to investigate the investigators based on their claims of, quote, improper political influence on the investigations into Russia. Basically, Trump claims he was unfairly and illegally targeted in the lead up to the election. However, the report dismantles these claims, saying it couldn't find, quote, political bias or improper motivation. But the report also finds that the FBI made some major missteps that were, quote, deeply concerning, specifically in how it obtained the legal authorization to surveil Carter Page. So let's back up a few years. The report looks at exactly how the FBI went about investigating Trump associates and specifically how it obtained and renewed a secret warrant to eavesdrop on former Trump foreign policy advisor Carter Page in 2016. The report was highly anticipated by the president and his allies.
I think it's going to be really damning and ugly.
Many of my constituents in Western North Carolina have been waiting for this report for a long, long time.
President Trump has repeatedly pushed a conspiracy that he was spied on during his campaign, starting with this tweet from March 2017, where he accused former President Barack Obama of, quote, wiretapping. But this report comprehensively debunks that claim. David Criss was a former United States Assistant Attorney General in the Justice Department's National Security Division.
First, the report repudiates claims of an attempted coup and related deep state conspiracies advanced by President Trump and his supporters. I think this is probably the most important single takeaway from the IG's report. Second, the report does find multiple and significant errors in the conduct of the FBI's investigation and in the Bureau's handling of the FISA applications, as well as some areas for potential improvement in FBI procedures for the future.
So let's dig into this report. In a wide-ranging inquiry, Horowitz's team surveyed millions of documents and conducted 170 interviews with more than 100 witnesses. We did not find documentary or testimonial evidence that political bias or improper motivation influenced the decisions to open the 4 individual investigations. Again, this unequivocally states that there was no political motivation behind launching the FBI investigation into Russia and the Trump campaign. Another claim made by Trump allies is that the FBI used a key document, the Steele dossier, with uncorroborated evidence to start the probe into the Trump campaign. But the report implies the document was not the initial catalyst for the investigation. In fact, the Bureau didn't receive it until after the investigation began. But there's something for everyone in this 435-page report. The Republicans are already citing other findings. There were, quote, 17 significant inaccuracies and omissions in the documentation provided to courts to obtain a secret warrant to surveil Carter Page, the FISA application. The report says FBI agents, quote, failed to meet the basic obligation to make sure the applications were scrupulously accurate. That so many basic and fundamental errors were made on 4 FISA applications by 3 separate and hand-picked teams on one of the most sensitive FBI investigations raised significant questions regarding the FBI chain of command's management and supervision of the FISA process. One of those fundamental errors includes a now former FBI lawyer altering an email that was submitted as part of the approval of a 3rd FISA renewal. The report also found that the same FBI lawyer engaged in, quote, improper political instant messages, including calling Vice President Mike Pence, quote, stupid, and saying, quote, the crazies won the day after the 2016 presidential election. However, the report also found pro-Trump text messages between 2 agents on that same day. Due to the, quote, quantity of omissions and inaccuracies, the report recommends that new guidelines be established for investigations into presidential campaigns. It's also launching a separate inquiry into how the FBI obtains national security warrants to surveil American citizens. Plus, it recommends a performance review of everyone involved in the Carter Page investigation. The report goes against Trump's biggest claims. Attorney General Barr, for his part, issued a statement essentially disputing his own Inspector General's findings. He said, quote, the Inspector General's report now makes clear that the FBI launched an intrusive investigation of a U.S. presidential campaign on the thinnest of suspicions that, in my view, were insufficient to justify the steps taken. And despite this massive report, there's still more to come. There's another investigation that was greenlit by Attorney General William Barr. That inquiry has now turned into a criminal probe. We'll see if that investigation draws different conclusions than this one did, which at the end of the day said that the investigation into Trump's campaign was, quote, opened for an authorized investigative purpose and with sufficient factual predication.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.